Wonderful. So let's go ahead and be settled either in a seated or a reclined position. And you might choose to close your eyes. You might choose to keep your eyes open. And as we always do, we'll start just with some intentional breathing. So just noticing that there is breath, just breathing in, noticing when you're inhaling, breathing out, noticing when you're exhaling. And just letting that be a really simple, but also very powerful way to shift awareness inside. Just noticing the in-breath and noticing the out-breath. The breath doesn't have to be a deep breath or a long breath or anything in particular, just breathing. As you notice the breathing, there might be a sense of noticing the parts of your body that are touching the ground or whatever you're sitting on or lying down on. So just noticing those points of contact, and if possible, you might take an exhalation and just intentionally settle a little bit into that support. In some ways, just grounding. So just want to bring this kind of intention, or maybe it's just a sort of a prompt, a way to direct your awareness as we practice. Just to sense or feel or notice, even in moments of stillness, there is flow, and even in moments of flow, there is stillness. Just sensing how it's possible to have both, to be feeling the movement of aliveness, but also abiding in a space that is reflective, just attentive. So you might even notice that right now as you're able to soften a little bit into the earth, notice that you're breathing. There might be some activity in the mind or tension in the body. So just taking that perspective of observation for a moment. For your next exhalation, you might just bow your head, and if your eyes were closed, you can blink your eyes open and lift your gaze forward. And if you aren't currently seated and lying down, you might just for a moment come up into seated. And we're going to just transition, if possible, to breathing in and out through the nose. Breathing in and out through the nose, noticing the sound, the sensation, and the movement of that nasal breathing. You might intentionally lengthen your exhalations. So just let the exhalations be a little longer, a little slower than the inhalations. And then let's just interlace our fingers and then push the palms forward and reach them up and overhead. They don't have to go straight up, just any amount reaching up. Take an exhale, rooting into the earth through your hips. Take an inhale, rising through the crown, pressing through the arms, lengthening. And then we're just going to lean to the right on the exhale. So let the hips stay heavy as you lean to the right. It doesn't have to be a big movement. Exhaling deeply here, breathing out. And then inhaling back to center, straight up. And other side, exhaling. So again, it can be a tiny movement. It can be a big movement. Just breathing, sensing, noticing. Take another exhale. Inhale, rising. And exhale, releasing the arms and folding over the legs. And any amount. So you might bring your hands down and then just slowly walk forward. Bowing the head towards the ground. Find that breath, if possible, through the nose. Listen to the sound, feel the sensation, notice the movement. Right, so there's the noticing. That's a quality of stillness. There's the flow. That's the vibration of aliveness, the movement of the breath. Let's inhale, rise all the way back up. Lift the arms, maybe look up. And then just bring the arms wide and down, exhaling. Good, so we're gonna lie down on our backs now. So just moving back into that reclined position, or maybe visiting it for the first time today. And when you come down onto your back, just bring your feet as wide as your yoga mat, which would be a little wider than your hips, and drop your knees together. And I sometimes feel, or I enjoy, I should say, a hand on the heart, left hand on the heart, right hand on the belly, just for a few more intentional breaths. And we're really breathing with awareness and settling, feeling the ground, the parts of your body that are touching the ground, just receiving that support for a moment. So again, cultivating a sense of noticing both qualities, the stillness, the clarity, the grounding, and also the movement, the vibration, the flow of aliveness, the creativity of it, the cleansing quality of it. And then let's just stretch the legs out onto the floor in front of you and hug the legs together and interlace the fingers. Arms reach away from the legs, palms reaching to the back of the room. Hugging the legs in, reaching long. Take a full breath, inhaling here. And then as you exhale, bring that right knee in. And I like to just take my time with this, clasping hands under the knee or the shin, and just sinking the knee towards the armpit. So the left leg is lengthening. If it hurts your back to have the left leg lengthening, you can place the sole of your left foot onto the floor. Sinking that right knee down to the armpit. Take another exhale. And then inhale, reaching the right leg out to meet the left leg. Reach the arms away from the legs. Take a full breath. You might draw in below the navel, move the sitting bones toward the heels. One more inhale. And then left knee hugging in. Take your time. So it doesn't have to just come right in right away. You can take a breath or two, lengthening the right leg, sinking the left knee towards the left armpit. Finding that breath, drawing in below the navel and lengthening that right leg. Let's take another full exhalation here. And then inhale, stretching that left leg out to meet the right leg. Arms reach away from the legs, reaching long. And then hugging both knees in as you exhale. So just slowly bringing both knees in. I like to take my knees wide, see what feels best for you, and maybe just rocking gently side to side, front to back. Let's take another full exhale right here. Good. Then we're going to place the soles of the feet on the floor, comfortably close to the sitting bones, feet about hip distance apart. Let's take a couple of intentional breaths. So if possible, breathing through the nose, lengthening on the exhalation. With your next exhalation, see if you can feel or imagine the location of your pubic bone, tailbone, sitting bones, and knit together and draw up. So then simultaneously, as you knit together and lift up from that area, there's a drawing in below the navel. Doing those engagements, making those engagements without flattening your lower back. Let the lower back stay neutral. See if you can maintain some of that awareness in the low belly as you ground your heels. Inhale, lift the hips up. Exhale, stay right there. Take another breath. Use the strength of your legs and glutes to lift your hips, inhaling, and then lower all the way down, exhaling. So we're going to do a little flow with this. Don't worry about it too much. Just see if you can follow along. We're just going to be lifting up and coming down, but there's a few breaths along the way. So as you inhale, let the hips rise, reach the arms straight up to the ceiling, and then keep the hips lifted. As you exhale, let the arms just reach back along the floor next to your head. And then inhale, let the arms lift up. The hips are still lifted. And then everything comes down, arms and hips lower all the way down. So we just try to smooth it out if we can. Inhale, lifting hips, reaching arms straight up. Exhaling, arms reach back along the floor behind you. Inhale, the arms lift, the hips are still lifted, and then everything comes down together on the exhalation. Maybe they can touch down simultaneously. Again, inhale, lift up, arms reach. You can lift your hips any amount. Exhale, let the arms keep moving back. And then inhale, lift the arms straight up to the ceiling. And then exhale, lower everything down. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, just let the arms drift back. Hips are still lifted. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, lowering everything down. Last time with your breath, inhaling, rise. Exhaling, arms reaching. Inhaling, arms reaching up. And exhaling everything down all the way. Let's just pause, take feet as wide as yoga mat. Let's turn the toes away from each other, tip the knees to the right like windshield wipers with right hand resting on belly, left arm reaching overhead. So we do the stretch almost every time, right? Just opening the left side, lengthening from the pit of the knee to the armpit to the fingertips. Can you exhale long and slow? Let the head and shoulders be heavy and supported. Feeling the earth rising up to meet you. Another exhale here. And then inhale, rise back to center. Left hand on belly. Exhale, knees to the left and right arm overhead. And then breathing here, just that lengthening of the pit of the right knee, reaching through the right arm. Take another full cycle. Let's take another long, slow exhalation. And then inhale, rise all the way back up. And arms to your sides, exhale. Good, let's lift our legs up so the thighs are perpendicular to the floor, the shins are parallel. We're gonna do a couple different kind of core connector things here. So start with the legs lifted and just squeeze the legs together gently and see if you can draw in below the navel as you knit together pubic bone, tailbone, sitting bones. Just feel whatever amount of that is available to you, if any, right? Just be interested. And then let's inhale, lift the arms overhead, or they're reaching on the floor back behind you. I like to bring my palms to touch each other. Take an inhale. And then exhale, lift and reach to the outside of the right leg. So we're lifting and rotating. Inhale, lie down, head and shoulders lie down, arms reach overhead. And then exhale, lift and reach to the left. So lift the head and shoulders and reach. Again, inhale, lie down. Exhale, legs are hugging together. Draw in below navel, lift and reach to the right. Inhale, lie down again. Exhale, knitting in, lifting, reaching to the left. Inhale, lie down, arms reach overhead. Exhale again, lift and reach to the right. Again, inhaling, lie down, reaching. Exhaling, lift and reach to the left. Let's do one more on each side. Any amount of lifting, inhale, lie down. Exhale, lift and reach to the right. Good, keep breathing with sound if you can. Inhale, lie down. Exhale, last time to the left, reach. Inhaling, lying down. Exhaling, touching the feet down and pause. Maybe feet wide and knees together. If some movements would feel good to you right here, maybe windshield wipering, the knees side to side like we did just a moment ago, you can do that. Right? And then slowly come back to center. So let's outstretch the legs onto the floor. One more thing here. We're going to reach the right leg up to the ceiling. And you might point your toes and turn your leg out a little bit so your leg is externally rotated slightly. And reach and lengthen through the left leg. I'm going to keep my arms resting overhead because for me that's comfortable. You might prefer to have your arms at your sides. If it's uncomfortable to have your left leg on the floor in this position, you might choose to place your left foot on the floor for more support. Your choice. We're going to just draw circles with the right toes. So I'm just circling my right leg, drawing circles on the ceiling with my toes. Circles can be any size. They can be really any pace, right? So the bigger the circle is, it's going to be a little bit more challenging to stay stable and lengthen and reach through your left leg. Try to stay with pain-free range of motion here. Just exploring that, grounding to the midline, drawing in below navel. Let's do one more circle in that starting direction. And then we're just gonna switch directions, circling the other way, circling around and breathing, grounding through the left leg, lengthening through it. Good, let's take another circle the other way. And then come back to center. Let the leg reach up. It's okay if the knee is bent. Clasp the hands onto the leg. Inhale. And then exhale. Bow your head to your knee. Knit your navel down. Lift your head and shoulders. Inhale, rest your head down. Exhale, release your right leg out. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Left leg reaches up. So again, you might choose to have your right leg outstretched or right foot on the floor. You can point your toes, turn the leg out slightly. Find some engagement below the navel, stabilizing a little bit, reaching through the right leg. Any size, any pace with the circle, circling the left leg, right? One direction. Just circling, breathing. Coming back to the sound, the sensation, the movement of the breath. So there's this quality of observation, some stillness, some clarity. And then there's always going to be this vibration, this flow, this movement. Let's take another full circle that direction, and then we'll just switch. So just switching the direction of your circles. Circling the other way, any size, any pace, pain-free range of motion if you can. Let's take one more circle that direction. And then clasp hands onto the leg, whether it's a bent leg or a straight leg. Exhale, lift and bow head to knee, knit navel down. Inhale, rest the head down. And then exhale, release the left leg out to meet the right leg. Let's just exhale and relax completely for a moment. And then just pause and notice the parts of your body that are contacting the earth right now. Take a full, spacious exhale. Good, let's hug the knees in. And we're gonna either roll to one side and come up onto our hands and knees, or roll forward and come up and over onto our hands and knees. So take your time coming up. If you need any extra padding under your knees, take a moment for that. Maybe it's a blanket or a pillow, whatever feels useful. And then we're just gonna do, like we do, a few rounds of cat-cow. So from here, as you inhale, you might arch your back and look up. Exhale, curling, rounding, bowing, tucking the chin, tucking the tail. And repeat that. Inhale, arch your back. Exhale, curling. So if you're inspired to move differently, like hips to the sides or circling the hips, you can do that. Inhaling, arching. Exhaling, rounding. Let's do it one more time. Inhaling and exhaling. Good, let's inhale back to neutral. And exhale, pause. Good, we're gonna take the right leg, reach it straight back. Tuck the toes under. So this is just a half plank position, but just pause and feel into it a little bit. So firming the right thigh, lifting the inner thigh, wrapping the outer hip down, drawing the front ribs in. So there's this little bit of grounding and containing to the midline, and then lengthening through the crown, through the collarbones. You can stay here and reach your left arm forward, or maybe you choose to lift your right toes and kind of hover in more of a balanced position. So right toes can be down or lifted, maybe left arm is reaching forward. Take another full breath, inhaling. And then bring left hand down, pull the right knee to the nose, curling in, bowing the head to the knee, exhaling. Inhale, reaching that right leg straight back. And then exhale, bringing the right knee down to meet the left knee. Let's do the same thing other side. Left leg stretches back, toes are tucked, and just feel into it, right? Feel into it. There's a little more steadiness, a little more stillness here than in a full plank. So just lifting the inner thigh, wrapping the outer hip down, lengthening. Take another exhale here. Let's inhale, reach the right arm forward. Of course, you can keep the left toes on the floor or add the lifting of the left toes. And then find the breath. So there's a little bit less steadiness here, but can there be some stillness on the inside, some grounding as you lengthen and receive the dynamic energy of the breath here? One more inhale. And then right hand to the floor, pull the knee to the nose, curling in, bowing the head to the knee, exhale. And then reaching the left leg back, inhaling, and bringing that left knee to the floor, exhaling. Let's bring the knees about a little wider than the hips, big toes together, and then just sit the hips towards the heels and come into child's pose for a moment. Come into child's pose. I like to make sure my forehead is resting on something, whether it's the floor or the backs of my hands or the backs of my forearms. Just breathing here, inhaling and exhaling. Right? Just sensing this is a practice of unity, of connecting with wholeness, just abiding with both the stillness and the flow. Let's rise from here onto our hands and knees, inhaling, and then forearms to the floor, stepping into forearm plank, exhaling. So bringing the forearms down, stepping the feet back, and coming into forearm plank. Breathing here. So hugging the legs, lifting the inner thighs, grounding into the elbows. See if you can find some lengthening, some broadening to the collarbones. Take another full breath, inhaling. Exhale, lower the hips down, untuck the toes. Ground into the elbows, lift the collarbones for Sphinx pose. So we're just lifting the chest, the hips are on the ground, lengthening the legs back. Take another full breath, inhale, and then lower down and rest as you exhale. You can turn your head to the side, you can rest your forehead down, whatever works best. Take another full cycle of breath. Body touching the earth right here. And then we'll rise and come back into forearm plank again. Come back into forearm plank. So we're gonna add in this time a forearm side plank on each side. So finding forearm plank, even if you have one or both knees on the floor, no problem. Take an exhale. We're gonna roll onto our right forearm. I like to spin it so that it's at an angle and maybe bring left hand to hip, or you can keep your left hand on the floor for support. Hugging in, maybe lifting up, maybe reaching left arm overhead. Take another full breath here, exhaling. And then inhale back to forearm plank and exhale, roll onto the left side, forearm side plank on the left. Maybe the right hand is on the hip or on the floor or reaching overhead. Hug the legs, inner thighs back, sitting bones to heels. Take another inhale. Exhale back to forearm plank. Inhale in forearm plank. You can do this. Exhale, lower your hips down. One more time, Sphinx pose. Broadening the collarbones. Reaching the legs back and down. Take another full breath here. Inhaling. And then lower down and rest as you exhale. Just really resting for a moment. Softening, settling, grounding. Sensing that the vibration of stillness and the vibration of flow are really both earth vibration. Let's rise back onto our hands and knees as we inhale. And then downward dog or child's pose as we exhale. Breathing here. Bowing the head, lifting the hips. If you're in downward dog, you might be pedaling your feet. You might be shifting your hips side to side. You might keep your knees deeply bent, right? Just see what feels useful to you as you breathe, right? Breathing in and out through the nose if possible, maybe even lengthening on the exhalation. Let's take another full breath, exhaling all the way. Let's bring the feet to the hands and hug the legs in. So if you were in child's pose, just take a moment to rise, come halfway up, breathing in. And then bow all the way down, breathing out. Just see if you can let your head come all the way down. Let's rise, lift the arms and look up, inhaling. And then arms to your sides, exhaling. Standing at the top of the mat, let's take the right foot in front of the left foot so the ankles are crossed. Legs are crossed, hugging the legs together. Maybe you put your hands on your hips. That's sometimes helpful for me to help feel a little bit of, as you hug the legs together, there's a narrowing of the hip points, drawing in below the navel, and broadening of the sacrum without tucking the pelvis. And then let's interlace our fingers, press the palms forward and up any amount, breathing and reaching up. And then we're going to lean to the right as we exhale. So this is challenging. So you'll feel that dynamic energy. It's a little bit wild. It's a little bit uncontrolled. Just exhaling, leaning to the right. And then inhaling, coming all the way back up. And then release the arms and uncross the feet. Exhale. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Left ankle in front of the right ankle. And just take a moment to feel into it. Maybe hands on the hips helps. So there's this grounding to the midline, grounding to the earth, and then receiving the flow. So interlace the fingers, press the palms forward and reaching up. From the legs, hugging in, draw in below navel, reaching up. Exhaling, leaning to the left. Grounding to the feet, reaching through the arms, leaning to the left. Take another full exhale. Inhale, rise all the way. And then arms down and feet together. Exhale, or feet next to each other. We're going to do a couple of half sun salutations, or a few, I should say. As you inhale, lift the arms, maybe look up. As you exhale, bow forward over the legs. It's okay to bend your knees on the way down. Inhale, lengthening, coming halfway up, broad chest. Exhale, bow all the way down. Let your head come down all the way. Inhale, rise and lift the arms and look up. And exhale, just bring the arms to your sides. Again, finding your breath. Inhale, reaching up. Breathing with sound through the nose if you can. Exhale, bow over the legs. Inhale, just lengthen, broaden the chest and look up. Exhale, bow over the legs all the way. Inhale, rise and lift the arms, maybe look up. And exhale, just bring your arms down. One more of these. Inhale, reaching up, finding that rhythm of breathing that feels natural. Exhale, maybe it's a long, slow exhalation as you bow. Inhale, just lengthening, looking up. Exhale, bowing over the legs all the way. Inhale, rising up, lift the arms and look up. And exhale, just bring the arms down, standing at the top of your mat. We're going to add on to that for some rounds of sun salutation A. As you inhale, lift the arms and look up, full breath. Maybe you lean back a little. Exhale, bow forward over the legs all the way down. Inhale, lengthening, looking up, full breath. Fingertips down, right foot steps back. Keep the knee lifted, just sink the hips forward, broaden the chest, inhaling. And then exhale, step to high plank. Inhale, lift into upward facing dog. Maybe the knees touch down, lift the chest up. Exhaling back to downward facing dog, pulling up and back, bow the head. Take a few full deep breaths, and anytime you'd like to touch your knees down for tabletop or child's pose, in place of dog pose, feel free. You might still be pedaling your feet, adjusting a little bit, sensing into it. Let's take another full exhalation. And then we'll take the right leg up and back, a nice big reach with the leg as you inhale. And then pull that right foot forward, place it between the hands, exhaling. Up on the left toes, inhale, sink the hips, look up. Exhale, step the left foot forward and fold over the legs. Inhale, just lengthen, looking up, breathing in. Exhale, bowing forward over the legs all the way. Inhale, rising, lifting the arms, looking up. Exhale, just bringing the arms down, sensing that stillness in the flow here. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lengthen and look up. Exhale, fingertips down, left foot back. That low lunge. Inhale, sink the hips, look up. Exhale, step to high plank. Inhale, lift into upward dog. So roll over the toes, maybe touch the knees down, lift the chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. So just breathing. So sensing how it might be possible to hold some stillness, some clarity with presence, and then really receive the flow of aliveness. No resistance. Take another full exhale here. And then let's reach the left leg up and back. Inhaling, pressing, lifting, reaching. Exhaling, pulling that left foot forward, up on the right toes. Inhale, sink the hips forward, lift the chest. Exhale, step forward and fold over the legs. Just hugging in, lengthening, looking up, inhaling. Exhaling, bowing forward over the legs all the way down. Inhale, rise and lift the arms and look up. And exhale, arms to your sides. One more round of sun salutation A, inhaling, reaching up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lengthen and look up. Exhale, both feet step back to high plank this time. Inhale into upward facing dog. Exhale into downward facing dog. A few full deep breaths. Bow the head. Reach through the arms, legs, and spine, even if the knees are bent. Just breathing, noticing where you are right now. Let's take another full breath, exhaling, long, slow exhalation, lifting below the navel. And then bring feet to the hands, hugging and lengthening, looking up. Exhale, bowing over the legs all the way. Inhale, rise, lift the arms and look up, full breath. And arms to your sides, exhaling. So we're going to do 2 rounds of modified sun salutation B. We'll start with Utkatasana. As you inhale, bend the knees and lift the arms and look up. Exhale, bow forward over the legs. Inhale, lengthen, looking up. We're going to exhale, fingertips down, step the right foot back, drop the right foot 45 degrees, bend the left knee. Climb up onto the left thigh. And exhale, pause, reaching down into the feet. You might take a breath in and lift the arms, look up, reach up, inhaling. Exhale, let's stay here. So warrior 1, reaching into the right foot, lifting up through the arms. Can you take another inhale here? And then exhale, hands down, step to high plank. Inhale, lift into up dog. Exhale, roll back into down dog. Take a full breath, bow the head, lift the belly, soften a little bit on the inside. Let's take that right leg, reach it up, inhaling. Exhale, pull the right foot forward between the hands, drop the left foot 45 degrees. Let's climb onto the right thigh as you inhale, pause, exhale. So you just feel into both feet and then maybe lift the arms, look up, inhale. Stay here for a breath. Another full inhale. And exhale, hands down, step to high plank. Inhaling, up dog. Exhaling, down dog. Full breath. Maybe child's pose, maybe tabletop. And so in this practice of stillness and flow together, you might sense or feel that wakefulness, awareness really has a receptive quality. It's not rigid or hardened in any way. Let's take another full exhalation here. Feet to the hands, hugging the legs in, lengthening and looking up. Exhaling, bowing over the legs all the way down. Let's bend the knees, lift the arms as you inhale, looking up. And then exhale, standing up, arms down, legs straight. You're gonna do that one more time. Inhale, bend the knees. Any amount, lift the arms, look up. Exhale, fold forward over the legs all the way. Inhale, lengthen from the legs, hugging and looking up. Exhale, fingertips down, left foot steps back, drop it 45 degrees, bend the right knee. Inhale, climb up onto the right thigh. Exhale, pause. And then inhale, you might choose to lift your arms overhead and look up. Stay here for a breath. So another inhale. One more breath in, and then exhale, hands down, step to high plank. Inhale, maybe knees down, lift the chest, up dog. Exhale, rolling downward facing dog or child's pose. Full deep breath. Breathing with sound, listening to that breath. Let's take an inhale, press, lift, and reach that left leg up and back. Exhale, pull the left foot forward, drop the right foot. Climb up onto the left thigh as you inhale, exhale down into the feet. And then again, lift the arms, maybe look up, inhale, and exhale again. Another full breath. One more inhale. And then exhale, bring the hands down, step to high plank. Inhale, lift into up dog, maybe with knees on the floor, lift the chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. Just a couple more breaths here. Really listening as you breathe, just that still quality of observation, receptivity. Let's bring the feet to the hands, hug the legs in, lengthen, and look up, inhaling. And then exhaling, bowing forward over the legs. Let's bend the knees, lift the arms, and inhale, look up. Exhale, come back into standing. Let's just pause, take a full breath in, full breath out. Good, so let's step out wide on our yoga mat, facing the long edge of the yoga mat, arms outstretched, inhaling. We're gonna just bring the hands to the hips as we exhale, and then pivot your feet towards your right foot. So my right foot turns out, my left heel drops back. Utthita Trikonasana, inhale, stand up, broad chest. Exhale, start to slide the right hand down the right thigh as you move into the pose. You can stop anywhere along the way. You might choose to bend your right knee. Anywhere you like to touch your leg or take your big toe, you might choose to reach your left arm up, maybe even look up. Utthita Trikonasana, breathing here. Finding your feet and legs, your low belly, and then lengthening through the crown. Let's take another full breath, and as we exhale, let's bring left hand to left hip and look down at right foot. And then bending right knee, we're gonna shift into Ardha Chandrasana. So I like to take my right hand in front and to the right of my right foot, and then press and lift the left leg any amount. So it might just be hovering a few inches over the floor, and see what that feels like. You might lift it high. Maybe you add the left arm lifting. Wherever you are, breathing, lengthening, and sensing that dynamic energy of the breath as you cultivate some stillness inside. Take another full inhalation, and then left hand to left hip, touch the left foot down, exhaling. Rise all the way back up, inhaling, turn the feet parallel, arms outstretched, and then just bring your hands to your hips, exhaling. So pivoting feet towards the left. So left toes turn out, right heel drops back. Right hand on hip, exhale, left hand sliding down left leg. And you want to stay within a pain-free range of motion. So just stop anywhere along the way. Roll the right shoulder back a little bit. Maybe you reach the right arm up. Maybe you even look up. Any steady gaze with the eyes, come back to that breathing through the nose, maybe long, slow exhalations. Good, let's take another full breath. And then right hand to hip, maybe look down at the left foot. We're going to shift into Ardha Chandrasana, bending left knee, shifting weight onto left foot, pressing, lifting right foot. And then breathing. Grounding and expanding, really that quality of stillness and flow right here in this moment. So you feel the wildness, you feel the creative energy of prana flowing through you, but also the steadiness. Take another inhale. Right hand to right hip, touch the right foot down, exhale. Inhale, rise and turn to the side, arms outstretched, feet parallel. And then exhale, bring hands to your hips. We're going to turn the heels in, toes out. Take an inhale, just stand up tall, and then exhale, just bend your knees any amount. So it's a wide squat. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, just bend the elbows, palms forward, sit down, maybe just a tiny bit more. Again, inhale, reaching up. Exhale, bend the elbows and sink. Let's do that one more time, inhaling. Exhaling. Stay here, take an inhale. And exhale, let's just release and stand back up. We're gonna pivot our feet all the way towards the right foot again. So right foot is leading, left foot is angled a little bit. And then let's just grab our opposite elbows behind our back. So we're doing several standing balance poses today. We're gonna enter another one here. Let's ground into the feet, hands are behind your back. Inhale, lift the chest. And then exhale, bow forward over the right leg. So just bowing, take your time. And sometimes bending that right knee is helpful. Just see if you can let your head come all the way down and lift your belly up. Let's take another full breath here. Just exhaling down into the feet, lifting below navel. As you inhale, bend that right knee a little bit if it's not already, and lengthen the chest forward, maybe lift the gaze. Let's press and lift. Actually, wait, let's interlace the fingers. So release the hands, bring the palms onto the right thigh, and then press and lift the left leg. So I like this variation with the palms on the thighs. So we're in warrior three, just for a little more steadiness and support. See if you can find your breath. Press and lift through the hamstring. Take another inhalation. And then touch that left foot down, exhaling. Inhale, rise, turn to the side, arms outstretched. And then turn to the left foot, bringing the arms behind the back, maybe grabbing opposite elbows. Okay, so same thing again, just adjusting your feet so you feel steady. Inhaling, lifting your chest. And then exhaling, folding over that left leg and adding a bend in the knee if that feels useful. So just folding, sensing the breath, cultivating some stillness without becoming rigid, just receiving aliveness. Take another full exhale. And then we'll start to rise, coming halfway up as you inhale. Let's release the hands onto the left thigh, interlacing the fingers. And then maybe inhale, press and lift that right leg up, coming into warrior three. Breathing here. So any amount of lift with the right leg, you might explore the inner thigh, lifting the hamstring, pressing up. Take another breath, inhale. Exhale, touch the right foot back down. And then inhale, rise, turn to the side, arms outstretched. And step back to the top of your mat as you exhale. Feet together and arms down. We're going to do one more standing balance before we start to wind down, come down. So let's bring our feet onto the yoga mat, fairly close together, and then bring the palms together in front of the chest. You're going to try Vrikshasana, tree pose. So first, feeling your feet on the floor, feeling your palms touching. Take a steady gaze with your eyes. So these are all gestures towards steadiness and stillness, but not rigidity or hardening. Let's just lift the right heel off of the floor and then turn the right knee and toes to the right. So your right heel could be touching your left ankle. This might be it for today. You're welcome to lift your foot anywhere above or below your knee, the right foot, for Vrikshasana, tree pose, right? So sensing that really upright quality of a tree, deeply rooted, but not rigid in any way. Right? You might choose to lift your arms if that feels available right now, right? Like branches. And again, there's this wakefulness, this uprightness to a tree, but not rigidity, just receptive, letting aliveness flow through and around. Let's take another full breath, inhaling, and then bring palms back in. If they left, exhaling. Let's release the right leg, inhale, and then feet down and arms down, exhale. Excellent, let's do the other side. So bringing palms together, feeling feet on the floor, feeling palms touching. Let's just lift the left heel. Take a steady gaze with your eyes as well. Turn the left knee and toes out. So all these qualities of being deeply rooted in the present moment right here, that steady gaze, steady breath, noticing sound, sensation, movement. You might choose to lift your left foot above or below the knee. And again, sensing that deeply rooted quality, that strength, that resilience that is not rigid in any way. That's receptive and fluid. So you might reach your arms overhead if that feels possible, and just breathing, receiving the breath. Good. Let's take another full inhalation. And then palms in as you exhale if they left. And then release that left knee as you inhale. And foot down, arms down, exhaling. One more standing pose before we flow into seated. So let's bend the knees and lift the arms as you inhale. So this is Utkatasana. And just the arms are reaching up, the knees are bent. As you exhale, let's just bring palms into the center chest. So the knees are bent, the palms are in. As you inhale, reach the arms forward with the palms touching. And then exhale, turn to the right and just tap your left forearm to your right thigh. Inhale, rise and reach straight out in front of you. And then exhale, turn to the left. Tap the right forearm to the left thigh. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, turn to the right. So there's just like kind of a twist pulse. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, turn to the left as you sit back. Let's do it again each side. Inhale, center. You can do this. Exhale to the right. Lift below the navel. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, turn to the left. Good. Let's come back to center. Inhale. And then palms through the center chest, fold over the legs. Exhale. Come halfway up, lengthening. Inhale. Step to high plank as you exhale. Maybe lift into up dog, inhaling. And then roll back into down dog, exhaling. Take a full breath in, full breath out. Just reorienting in downward dog, lengthening arms, legs, and spine. Let's touch the knees down. Bring the knees maybe as wide as the yoga mat or a little wider than the hips. And then sit the hips back and bow the head down. Full breath here. Inhaling and exhaling. Again, touching these moments of stillness and clarity. And just noticing what you see, what's there. It's usually this vibration, this creative energy of aliveness flowing through you. As you inhale, let's rise and take our seat. So just rise up onto your heels, move your legs to one side. And let's start with the legs out in front of you. It doesn't mean they have to be straight, but they're just out in front of you for a moment. We're going to walk the feet in. So the feet are on the floor with the knees bent. And then let's take the left foot and bring it underneath the right leg and sort of around, the foot comes around towards the right hip. And then the right foot can walk in a little bit towards the left shin, and that can stay right there, or it can cross just over the knee. So either place for the right foot is perfect. And then we'll just hug the right knee with the left elbow and place the right hand on the floor behind you. So it's just a seated twist. And we're just going to breathe and maybe gaze over the right shoulder. Just again, touching aliveness with that quality of presence that is steady and still, but also spacious and receptive. Touching the earth through your hips, rising, lengthening through the crown. Let's take one more exhale, long, slow breath out through the nose. And then inhale, just turn your gaze forward. And then exhale, release the twist. Take your time. Let's place the right foot on the floor and then place the left foot on the floor. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So bringing the right foot kind of underneath into the outside of the left hip. And then maybe you just bring the left foot in front of the right shin. Maybe you bring the left foot to the outside of the right thigh. Either way. Right hand or elbow on the left knee, inhaling, rotating, looking over the left shoulder, exhaling. So you can use your left hand on the floor for support, for additional grounding. And then just come back to your breath, noticing sound, sensation, movement. So just the noticing is some stillness. The sound, the sensation, the movement is the dynamic, kind of wild quality of aliveness. Let's take another full exhale here. And then just turn your gaze forward, inhaling. And then you can release the twist, exhaling, maybe left foot on the floor, right foot on the floor. Let's just have the feet on the floor, hands kind of walk back. And then we'll just tip the knees to the right, like windshield wipers. Come back to center and then just tip the knees to the left, like windshield wipers. Let's do that one more time. Back to center and then over to the right. And then back to center, inhaling and over to the left, exhaling. Good. Back to center. And then we're just going to scoot our bottom towards our heels a little bit and roll all the way down onto our back. And when you come onto your back, let's just find that constructive rest position where the feet are wide and the knees touch each other. And maybe you like that left hand on the heart, right hand on the belly. Maybe not. Right? Whatever feels grounding to you, just take a moment and breathe. So again, it's just the contemplative practice is practicing cultivating this capacity to witness, to just sense and really receive and allow the flow of life. That's always here. So let's take another full exhale. And then we're going to bring the feet a little closer together and let's just outstretch the legs onto the floor in front of you. Hug the legs together, interlace the fingers and reach the arms away from the legs. Take a full breath, inhaling, and then bring the right knee in, exhaling, clasping hands onto the shin. Again, just like we did at the beginning, squeezing knee towards armpit slowly as you breathe, lengthening left leg. Let's take another full exhale here. And then inhale, right leg reaches out to meet left leg, arms reach overhead. One more time, other side, left knee draws in. Sink that knee towards the armpit as you breathe. Just letting it come wide and down as you lengthen that right leg. Take another exhale. And then inhale, reach that left leg out, arms reach away from the leg. And then exhale, let's bring both knees in. Let's bring both knees in. Excellent. Let's place both feet on the floor. A little bit more bridge pose. So we're just going to hold it a couple of times instead of do the flow. But before we lift up, so feet are comfortably close to the sitting bones, about hip distance apart, just that locating, if you can, the pubic bone, tailbone, sitting bones knitting together, drawing in below the navel, lifting up without flattening the lower back. And then maintaining a little bit, if you can, that awareness as you inhale, lift the hips up. And you might choose to just let your arms rest at your sides. You might choose to interlace your fingers and rock your upper arms underneath. A few full deep breaths here. If you're able to breathe through your nose, breathing with sound, maybe even long, slow exhalations, lengthening the exhalations. Let's take another inhale. Good. And then exhale, lower all the way down. Just pause for a full breath. Just noticing, sensing how life is flowing inside you right now. One more time, inhale, lifting up. Maybe rocking arms underneath you, maybe not. Feeling the strength of the legs, any height, lifting the hips, and just again, the breath, coming back to it, noticing it. Take another inhale here, and then exhale, lowering all the way down. Pause for a moment. Softening. Notice if there's any resistance. Okay, let's just take the feet as wide as the yoga mat. Place the right hand, turn the toes away from each other. Place the right hand on the belly. Tip the knees to the right, left arm reaching overhead. So that same open twist we did at the beginning. And so you might notice, at least I notice this sometimes, there's a tension in the body, a resistance to this because I'm trying to stretch too hard. So just see if you can let your head and shoulders soften and just let there be space. And if that's not possible, then you just observe what is happening. Take another full exhale here. And if there's pain, then you respond by changing, shifting, moving until there's not. Let's inhale, rise back onto the soles of the feet, switch the hands, switch the knees. So just tipping the knees to the left, right arm overhead. And again, just noticing. Breathing. When there's noticing and breathing, there will naturally be a sense of responding or a knowing of how to respond. Let's take another full exhale here. And then inhale, rise back onto the soles of the feet and let the arms rest at your sides for a moment. Exhaling. We're going to do one more of those core connectors that we did at the beginning just for a moment before we rest. So lift the legs so the thighs are perpendicular to the floor and the shins are parallel. Reach the arms away from the legs, maybe palms together. And see if you can awaken a sense of pubic bone, tailbone, sitting bones knitting together and lifting up, drawing in below navel. Take an inhale here, and then exhale, lift and reach to the outside of the right leg. Inhale, lie down, arms reach away from the legs. Exhale, lift and reach to the left. Good. Inhale, lie down, arms reach away from the legs. Exhale, lift and reach to the right. Inhale, lie down, arms reach overhead. Exhale, lift and reach to the left. We're just going to do this one more time on each side. Inhale, lie down. You can always skip the movement and just hold the legs. Exhale, lift and reach to the right. Inhale, lie down. Exhale, lift and reach to the left. Good. Let's lie down, inhaling. And then let the knees sink in, maybe hug the knees in. Exhaling and pause. Right? Maybe a little happy baby, soles of the feet up, grabbing the outer edges of the feet, sinking the knees wide and rocking. So taking a moment to check in. Maybe eventually you end up with feet on the yoga mat, knees together, so just that constructive rest. We're going to transition into Shavasana. So if you'd like to, I will just invite you, if you have a way to put your legs up the wall, you might choose to do that. You could just lie down flat on your back. You could stay in this constructive rest, really any comfortable resting position. Go ahead and take a moment to sense into that. And if there's other movements or things that you need to set up to support you before that is possible, then take the time for that. And as you're coming into rest, you might close your eyes, you might exhale through the mouth. You might notice the parts of your body that are contacting the earth. Shavasana is a gesture of surrendering. Really just sensing that the breath never really was controlled, and just sensing your own belonging, your own movement with aliveness. Just letting this resting and surrendering really be the ultimate gesture of receptivity, of wakefulness. So everything belongs right here. As you're abiding here with presence, with this really kind of expanded quality of awareness,
You might start to find some movement, your fingers and toes, maybe even reaching the arms overhead and hugging the knees into the chest. From there, you might roll onto one side and rest there for a moment. And then eventually rising all the way up and taking your seat for a moment. And maybe your eyes are closed, maybe you have a steady gaze with the eyes. So the practice of abiding is really contacting that stillness that is really awake and receptive. Our closing intention is generally a sincere wish that our own practice might in some way be of benefit, not just to ourselves, but to others. So you might just take a moment and reflect inside what that means for you today, in this moment. And it's okay if there's a sense of not knowing. Just let it be a moment to listen. Just listen for the heart. Just a prayer for how you can walk mindfully through the moments of your life, mindfully and heartfully. So thank you. Namaste. It's really wonderful to see everybody. I'm going to unmute in case you choose to stay.